going on. So I just feel like for the youth or the freshman approach, yes, but no. And then for when it comes about bringing up stuff, you got to bring up stuff in the proper context. If it's a call-worthy topic, you better be calling people. And if it's a text-worthy topic, then you better be sending text. But you got to make sure that your vehicle with the agency and the importance of what it's carrying. So that's how I feel about those two real areas of it.
So is it major shakeup? Like I said, some organizations did not receive the funding. I think GMUG was one of those organizations didn't receive the funding for that. But like you said, apply now, 2025, get out the gate, get your paperwork right, and apply. But the thing was, like I said to you before, it's hard to do this stuff when you don't have nobody trying to help you navigate through the system. And mostly everyone wants to get paid to navigate through the system. And that's what, falls short. You got your mom that know how to do this stuff, big time, but then they don't want to reach out to you because they think that your organization going to buy into it more. So I'm like this with it. I have to still go after grants because that's just a, a little piece, but got to constantly keep going after grants to sustain itself because I was paying out of my own pocket to keep the organization floating and with our youth and all that there. So here we are today on the show talking about on the Jim Anderson Shake-Up.
This shows again that the lack of insight of those who represent our community, like at the level, for instance, take that, what you just said. Mm-hmm. Oh, the paperwork. Ain't nobody like Austin's mom that could help out and stuff. And I'm saying, guess what? This ain't the first year that organizations have been confronted with that. Yes. Every year, it's the same kind of dance around. Oh, well, your paperwork wasn't right. Seems like somebody will have a helping spot along the way. That when they say, hey, American Rescue Funds are here, you need to get your application out. We have, just like IRS does, we will help you fill out your form.
Well, that's what Oswaldo and Ron.
Well, they don't seem like they did very well.
Well, I'm saying they gave opportunity.
Oh, they just started?
I'm just saying they gave opportunity to folks to lead them in that direction as the department was given to Ron Dixon. He's a young man, and he's really saying, I'll help you through this as much as I can because you only have so much level of city hall influence.
You listen to my point. Yes. My point is not that he got in. This is a needed part in doing right with the funding. Yes. You got funding for a community that is underdeveloped in how to do the paperwork. Mm-hmm. There ought to be a bridge to help them. Yep, something like what Latasha does is available, but many of them at the level, they're not ready to do fair trade in that level and what I would think someone like her could do as a gift. I mean, she does that, but I'm just saying.
I do give.
No, she does what I'm saying. But what she does as a gift, I know people who will participate, but there are others that would have wasted their time because they got to do the basics. First of all, they need to understand the paperwork. Organizations themselves.
They don't understand.
It's a shame that is not a.
It's like a bank.
But this is the thing, because I just had this conversation, and the frustration for me, which I'm going to say here on the radio and continue to say now on YouTube and everywhere else, stop saying to me, like, so yesterday I had this debate with someone on Facebook, and they said, what do you need when you start a business? And I said, you need a banker, you need a CPA, you need an insurance broker, you need these things. And they said, that's too overwhelming.
Too much.
And my point was, so my first year when I left my job, I had a $20,000 tax bill. If I did not have a CPA who could help me understand how that won't happen again, I would have been in trouble.
Right.
I said, you need a bank manager relationship, because when you walk into the bank with a check bigger than what the teller makes, it's up to their discretion, and it's not discrimination. We got to take a break.
Yeah.
But it's not just we're coming back, but it's not discrimination. Go to break. Let's go to break. Yes. It's not discrimination. Mm-hmm. It's literally the way that the process works. And so I'm saying all this stuff to say, then I called someone because I'm pivoting my business right now. I really do want to help people in the community. The problem is when I'm talking to a leader of one of the larger organizations getting money, and this person says to me, you different. You always been different because you do business like business. Do you realize how ridiculous that sounds? Mm-hmm. And then they said, there's a lot of people with deficits, but they're the ones getting the money.
Yeah. Right. That don't make sense.
So it don't make no sense to me. So if I'm saying I'm here trying to help, and you're saying you don't want the help, then don't talk to me about the Bill Stadium because you're not ready.
Right.
Don't talk to me about any of these projects.
Not
even
ready.
Sean Bryan talking about a house. Don't even talk to me about that because if your business is not set up.
Now, what was the house basically what he was saying?
Oh, he was saying that he's doing this community home program so that even if businesses they're not equipped resource.
So
he's coming back on air.
Hey, we're back, and we're still rolling.
Yeah. So when Sean Ryan said, well, I understand that these, Black-owned businesses couldn't necessarily get the Bill Stadium, so I want to set up smaller RFPs where they could get it. And I'm telling you, from the people I'm talking to, we can't even do that because it's not the problem of it is the problem of the opportunity because you can't front payroll. You're not bonded. You don't have insurance. You don't have all of these things that you need in order to be able to do business. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that I don't mind helping, but don't get mad at me when I tell you, and I'm working with someone right now and we're arguing because I'm like, you want to get opportunities, but you got to position yourself differently. The average business owner that I have met, and I'm going to meet some tomorrow night because another give back at Kenesha's is we set up our business and bootstrap, but we don't frame ourselves to set up our business to do business.
So is that an open meeting or a closed meeting?
Tomorrow is someone asked me to come be a speaker in an entrepreneur program.
So if they wanted to contact you to be a speaker, how would they call you?
They could go to Latasha, LATASHIA 115959.com/connect.
Yeah, I gotta look that up. Say that 115959.
It's Latasha, LATASHIA 115959.com/connect. And you can schedule an appointment with me. But the point that I'm making is I'm not trying to argue. My son says, I want to help accelerate people. But fundamentally, if someone could have helped me 25 years ago when I started having a business, the key things that I needed to have is telling me that I need to shift my mindset to understand, why do I want a business? Because everybody wants it for a different reason. Everybody don't want 6 figures. Some people just want to be able to go to the grocery store and not do like I did this morning and say, oranges are $9 for a bag. Okay, we're going to pass on the oranges today. Other people do want a multi-million-dollar business, but you got to have a different mindset to work on your business and say, am I even ready to do business with business yet? Because you might not be able to. You need to have money in the bank to do business.
Yes. So we back to the Jim Anderson show. Ms. Anderson, we didn't talk about, I don't know how much we talked about last week about what took place in Mercy Correctional Facility.
In Rochester.
In Rochester, yes. Yes, and then folks can be actually just let out to prison, not arrested, just suspended or whatever that might be, for a young man to lose his life to go in to a low minimum place or just jail period and not come home. And I think a lot of folks I'm asking, how come we didn't, why we're not talking about it?
They did talk about it last week. They talked about it last week.
And I want people to know it's not that we're not talking about it. That's why we had a phone line. You got to call in and talk yourself.
Right.
And not sit there and say, he didn't say what I wanted to say. Well, I talked about it. And just because I didn't labor in it is because there wasn't a need to labor in it. So we know these things are going on, and I don't want to every time something happens, did we see it? We saw it. The question is, hell, what are you going to do about it?
But Jim, it's the same thing, no matter what, because we just shifted from business over to a community issue. Yeah. It's the same situation. The situation is we do not organize.
Right.
We do not have a single leader with a primary cause like Austin talks about all the time, where we can come together and be heard. We just want to talk about stuff. Talking about stuff is not the people who called last week were talking about stuff.
Right, exactly.
Right.
And when we do talk at it, because Sister Massey shared her plight of her own child.
Yeah, I had a call
and said and also spoke to Senator Ryan about doing some further follow-up. She'll be watching because she threw out her bucket and will get down. But I'm telling people as a community, one of the reasons we have open lines is to get you used to using your voice. talk here. We're not going to settle it. We're not guaranteed to settle it, but I guarantee that you'll make much knowledge out of it if you're sharing truth and if you're sincere about it and ready to work it on yourself. Work with this yourself as well as getting people to come help you. You heard Latasha talk. You heard Latasha talk about what us being joining together and us responding to things. You don't respond to it. This station is always open for you to share what you see and what you know. But no, you don't do that.
Your tongue,
you don't do it enough.
Calling me saying, "Why you make that statement?" I said, "Well, it's the show. I mean, people that come on the show, I can't tell Austin how to talk on the show. He has the right.
Tell him stop talking to Murray. You can talk to Murray, but talk to us. That's if you really sincere. Stop talking in the clubhouse and get on the line. You know,
so I mean, this Juneteenth, same thing, right? We had a big meeting at Juneteenth.
Everything. We don't
Friday. We had a big meeting at Juneteenth. And even when about violence with you.
Listen, even when you text, if you go on the website,
right?
Latasha's manning got all that covered. If you text and got something to say, you can do it. But if you text me, I might not get it. I'm on the mic. I'm not looking at my phone. Then the rest of us. So let's be real. I'm telling you, 2025 is different. They ain't taking no smacks on the show. Ain't doing that.
AI.
Listen. I know you. You know me. I know our community. You know our community.
So at the Juneteenth meeting, we had pushed it out. We were gonna have a meeting about security on how do we do things in the community for the youth to really not come there just to fight. At one point, some folks didn't want the youth there. I'm like, how you gonna talk about them and not have them at the table? You know what I'm saying? You gotta have them at the table. That's the only way you're gonna get something resolved. So the meeting went pretty fairly well. We did get some things resolved, but the point is, the ones that we can't reach, that doesn't listen to the radio station, that doesn't look at the TV box, for the news. How do we reach them?
Well,
we have to go. They don't go to. See, most people think that youth are on Facebook. They not. They're on TikTok. They're on other,
we know.
This is old school for them. This is old school for them now.
But check it out. Mm-hmm. When you talk about how do we reach them, how do we do it? See, that's not necessarily our job. We trying to reach them with information, but doing the real work of organizing. All right, well, now tell me what all those churches and community centers are doing. Now, and I see, and you already said we're not talking about the one already in the clubhouse.
Right.
Yeah, we're talking about them too, because it's some of them that is among those that all these bad kids. Who are they?
Where they got a youth right there.
Yes.
So what do you think?
I don't use social media. I don't use TikTok. I don't even have an Instagram. I don't have Facebook on my phone. I don't use those things. And I think there is a demographic of young people who aren't necessarily in that traditional young people box that make up a decent sized portion of it. And I feel like for me, when I think about community change, like it doesn't need to even be social media. I'm in environments, right? I'm in places like this. I go to work. I'm at places. And to your point, and when I'm in those places, I'm not hearing conversation about what's going on in Buffalo. I'm hearing about other stuff. I'm hearing about talking about sports and the Bills and all this other stuff that's not relating to the information that we need. And I think it is a part of what you're saying, which is everybody acts like in order for something to be relevant, they got to hear it from somebody else first, right? I got to walk up to somebody and be like, have you heard about 33 plan for them to be like, absolutely, man, it's crazy. Right. But why did I have to come and ask you about it if you don't want to share that information? Mm-hmm. I think we have to empower ourselves to say that the discourse that we're looking for and informed Buffalo starts with us. If you know something, like you said, it becomes incumbent upon yourself to share that information. However, the reason why I think a lot of people don't is for the same reason why a lot of people are probably so quick to point fingers at politicians. Some people are so quick to point fingers and tear people down. I don't think we've created a culture in Buffalo that's graceful or comfortable enough that someone who would be comfortable bringing what they have to the table. Because we're so quick to point at each other, we're so quick to tear each other down without trying to understand. If I don't create an environment where people want to share, they won't. So you wonder why people just walk down the street or just keep their mouth shut. Because it's for the same reason why instead of calling in and asking you a question on air, they gonna when they see you, man, why would you say that? No. They might not even say that. They might not even say that. What it probably sounds like more of nothing is, one of us is coming to you telling you that someone was talking behind your back.
Right.
We don't even have a desire to have real conversations. Our city doesn't want to do that.
And
so
we're not to bottle up people right here in this room.
In this room, no, we're not.
Yes,
but we can only do so much.
That's
we can only exist in the system that's created. So we may not be holding our tongue. I doubt that almost anybody on that common council was a tongue holder when they were trying to get elected. But you get in there, you start getting your people start pointing at you. You got these cameras and these reporters making reports, and it can feel like you're getting attacked. And then you wonder why you just keep your mouth shut, talk in secrecy, make your vote, and go home. I don't think we even have a desire to truly get to know these people because it's so much easier to talk about it than to put the work in to solve it and understand. So in my opinion, yes, there is a lot of people in the city who are super informed. There are young people who need to be informed. We are intelligent people in Buffalo. But until we create not only an environment where they're empowered to share, but feel comfortable sharing, people aren't going to feel comfortable bringing their gifts to the table. So when you ask me, what can the community do to get in touch with young people? Have some more conversations. Be willing as a politician to say, you know what, guys, I was wrong. I didn't know this. But until everybody stops faking the funk, every church stops acting like their pews are full. If your pews are empty, let us know. But everybody act like they good. Everyone act like they got it. Okay, well, since I'm a young person who don't got it together, I'm gonna just keep my mouth shut until I do. So I feel like it's a combination. We need to create grace, and we need to push people in our city. We need, like you said, stop pointing fingers at each other. If you don't like your city, get out and change it. But stop talking about it. And when you do that, then as a young person myself, I start saying like, man, what'd you say? When people are informing me, then I have a desire to be informed. Now I will come to a common council meeting. But right now, I just feel like if I don't bring something up first, you can have all the wealth and knowledge in the world, and people in Buffalo will walk right by you. We have no desire to inform. So,
you was on fire.
I think social media is good. Instagram is good. Facebook is good. Things of that nature is good. But unless you acting like these young people only sit in their house and interact with their phone all day, and at that course of that day, there was someone else, whether it was a parent, a sibling, a family member, a friend, there was someone else in their life who could have been that source of information. And we can't guarantee that every young person is on social media, but I can guarantee every young person is going to talk to somebody. We need to make sure we're talking about the right
thing. And that's what that came out of the meeting at with the Juneteenth. And all the youth said the same exact thing you saying, and no one was listening. Hopefully on this air right now, someone is listening. Not the same ones that keep calling in week by week. Give me somebody new that can really understand what you just did. The energy you just brought today, brother, man, I'm on fire. You put something in me, man, like, whoa, I'm like, you've been bottled up for a while.
You know why nobody's gonna call in? You know why a lot of people aren't gonna call in? Because they'll listen, but they'll feel like, oh, he's not talking to me. He's talking to somebody else. Oh, I don't really know how to sound. I don't really sound too articulate. I don't sound too perfect. I don't want to hop on the mic and speak. And I know I can sound ironic saying I think I'm a very articulate young man. I know that can be scary to bring what you have to the table. Wow. But that's what we're asking everybody else to do. It's probably scary being in common council.
Yes.
You got to put like she said, you don't sleep on risk.
Yes.
You putting your judgment, yourself on the forefront. People could tear you down. And they doing that every day. How can I ask them to do something that I'm not willing to do in my small life? Because ain't no cameras on me. Ain't nobody watching me. I'm too nervous to share my opinion. And I don't even got people that are criticizing me. That's how we acting. So we probably got listeners who will never call me. Right. You know why? Because they don't really want the city that they say they do. Or else you would get up and you would call and you would bring your piece to the pie to the table. So we got to stop faking the funk, because we keep faking it like everybody got it. Okay. I'm gonna act like I got it too.
2025.
2020. Forever.
It's always every year the same thing. You make it more and more. In 2025, here we go. Victoria Ross is on the line. Some of them days back in the day, Austin, it was called protesting and coming together and walking down streets like this here. And you know, you'd be surprised who the players were.
She's on her phone?
No, she's just on Facebook. She's tuned in there. But I can remember when situation was happening at the holding center, or what was going on with Rocco Dino, and we was having, people being murdered. We marched. We got together. We don't do that, but the marching made our organizations be to who they are today. Right now, you wouldn't have a Mad Dash. You wouldn't have a Stop the Violence Coalition. You wouldn't have a Buffalo United Front, because we all started coming together. We wouldn't be meeting Jim Anderson. When I met him, I had to pick him up on a bus, a Stop the Violence bus, because he had brought some folks in from other cities just to come in and do stuff. You wouldn't have the Black Panthers. You wouldn't have none of that here if we don't come together and say we're going to take a stand on some stuff.
But the thing is, my question is, all these meetings, Stop having meetings. Just go outside and take a walk and meet the neighbor.
We did that.
No, I'm saying now.
Okay.
I'm saying now, like yesterday. I'm saying yesterday after I left church, because I built relationships with that community. I saw Miss Clara and I pulled into her driveway and I said, "Hey, Miss Clara, I haven't seen you." The neighbors next door with 5 kids and all kinds of stuff going on. I went out to start sweeping. They said, "Give us a broom." And they started sweeping. So stop having meetings. Go meet somebody.
Next door neighbor.
So you can build a relationship, because it's harder to point fingers and get mad when you build real relationships based on, I just want to get to know you.
Don't be waiting for the government to do it.
Yeah, just go out there and meet people. Right. So instead of y'all having all these meetings, how about we just go somewhere where people congregate and don't judge, just say hello.
So Tasha, how many people we got running in the race for mayor? How many people is in this race?
Too many.
Too many, right? You said it right. Too many. And then the point was, I heard him on the air saying, well, you need $1 million to win a race in Buffalo. I said, man, all you really need is just some good folks coming together and you can take it by the storm. You don't even need $1 to do it. If you got the right people backing what you're saying, it only take that. And they know what? It's a landslide. Stop talking about you need $2 million or $1 million to run a campaign for mayor in the city of Buffalo, which we know is really not that big. And you talking about you need $1 million. I think it's like 10 people that's in this race, Ms. Anderson.
Good. Well, we're going to go to a call. Caller, you are on the air.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone.
Hey, Dr. Doyle.
Doyle calling. Yes. Can you hear me?
Oh,
yes,
loud and clear.
Hello?
Yeah, we got you. We can hear you.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yes,
we can. We can hear you.
I hope you can. I was listening to your show and I appreciate the comments from Sister Latasha. And I want to encourage Austin to keep on speaking. Keep on giving your voice. We need your voice. You make a lot of sense. I want to say very quickly, because I know you don't have much time, and I'm sorry, I have a little bit I have a cold. But I just wanted to say that one of the reasons I don't seek funding is because I don't have time to debate or argue. So when I see a need in the community, I just do it. And there are a lot of people who support me and encourage me to just do it. I want to share it's a funny story. One day I was coming out of the Meriwether Library. I was going across the street to the Golden Cup, and there was a group of young Black men standing on the corner. And one of them said, "This lady, see the monument." And I couldn't understand that. I have never been referred to as a monument.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And I shared it with my son, and he said, "Mom, they use that term because a monument is strong, it's steady. That's why they refer to you as a monument." And I have never forgotten those young men who said that. I just wanted to share that with you, and also you keep on speaking. I'll hang up and listen to the rest of your show.
Thank you, Dr. Doyle. And I think they're right? You're a monument. And sometimes I think for regular people in Buffalo, you can look at that and be like, oh man, that peak is so high, I may not be able to be a Dr. Doyle. But what I'm saying on the air today is that I'm not expecting everybody to be I'm not expecting everybody to be Jim Anderson. I'm not expecting that. And you don't have to be. But if you find that you're in rooms, you're in spaces, and you are not happy, you have to ask yourself sometimes, not all the time, but at least sometimes, is there a change that can start with me? And if there is, am I willing to do it? And if you're not, then you need to stop. Then you can't keep complaining or talking negative. Because like I said, if we want an informed city, I'm looking at after this show to myself, I need to start reading this newspaper and informing people at my job about what's going on, right? I can't keep talking about it. I got to say, okay, what is this in the Challenger? Go to work and then just talk to my coworker, be like, hey, man, you know what's going on in Buffalo?
Yeah.
They might be like, nah, let me let you know. That's what we have to do. It's not about going out saying I'm going to mobilize, because everybody might not be able to mobilize a march. Everybody might not be able to have a Stop the Violence coalition. That's not what I think we need. I don't think everybody has to be an advocate or an empower. But if you can empower your areas, if everybody just did their piece of the pie, we wouldn't even need these types of monuments, because they could still appear. We wouldn't need people to come and save us. We wouldn't be relying on the government, because we would take it all into our own hands. So it's not going to be one person saving Buffalo. And if you take nothing from what I'm saying, I'm not asking you to be that person. All I'm saying is be the best person you can for the people that you interact with and in your sphere of influence. So if it's just your family, keep your family informed. If it's just your work and your family, keep your work and your family informed. If you love to speak and you want to go out to the community, keep your community informed. But do the best that you can for your sphere of influence. And that's how we change Buffalo. And I don't think a lot of people want to do that. So you listen to the show every week, and you don't want to call in once? You don't want to bring us one issue? That's what I'm saying. I bet you have something to say. I bet you'll tell someone, oh man, you hear what that Austin man said? Bet you'll say that. Say it to my face, because it's not malicious. It means you want me to do better.
Mm-hmm.
What's your out?
That's all. Hey, thank you. I mean, listen. There's no special deal between me and Austin. Like you got to say this or say that. His light was on. I saw his light, and everybody want to go where some light is. So. I mean, don't think he's like a sidekick, pulled in. He's not a puppet. He's on his own. He speaks on his own. I don't tell him how. I don't steer him one way or the other. You see how he grows all of us in the room when he does speak, and when he got something that ain't wrapped too tight, he'll get pushed back. He might not like it, but that's part of the growing too. I mean. Yeah, I'm telling you, this room alone is like a lab of its own, because of the different experiences, the different ages, the different sexuality. Look, and to have the opportunity to have you weighing in to extend it. This is a microcosm that has a real life, and if we find harmony in, as what Austin often say, in how we communicate. That's a healthy sign towards building community, talking to each other. Ain't that bold to go through your community, go and say hello to people in the community that you don't know? You know them, you've seen them, you're around there, you're in the same community. What's wrong with saying hi? Latasha, you're inspiring with, some of the things you be sharing. And I just like, simple. It costs you no money. You ain't got nobody. Listeners, we just leave it all on the table. Yeah, and I mean, you getting unscripted, stuff, and you're not getting hype. And when it's hype, we be coming at each other.
This is the last thing I'm gonna say on that, because I think this is the simplest way for me to understand it. The only thing that separates a Jim, a Murray, a Latasha, and an Austin, and other people in this community is this: we believe in better for our community. And when you believe in better for your community, your words and actions change. I'm not trying to tear people down. I'm trying to lift people up.
They're good.
When I say something wrong, and y'all are able to correct me, because y'all want better for me. If you want nothing else, just want better for your community and believe that your community wants better for itself. But if we have so many people stop walking around here believing negative, that's why, like we said, if you believe that if you start something on your own, nobody's gonna support you, you're never gonna start it. But if you believe your community has a desire to be better, then maybe we won't overthink our small pieces so much, because I'll believe that if I start educating and informing people at my job, they'll inform others as well. If I'm not seeing optimistic or seeing better, I think a lot of people don't want to admit they don't even think that Buffalo can do better. And speaking of better, speaking of what can we do, I want to also pray proper credence to this, because the Stop the Violence Coalition and the Lifesavers will be having would you like to pronounce her name?
Say her name, Tasha. You got the good.
Meryl.
Yeah, Meryl Tisdale. What's it?
Last name.
Tengisadal.
Yes.
Wait.
Yes.
Candeso. I don't know.
See what I said? Mr. Her home. It's going to be Friday, January 10th, 2025 from 3 to 5. And we're going to have the first or the only African American women inspire the U2 spy plane, and an author of Shatter the Sky, an inspirational speaker. And I'm saying that to say, we're not saying that one person is going to say the community, but let's go out and support people who are trying to inspire and bring life to the community. I'm not going to pronounce her name. I'm just going to say Miss Merrill because I don't want to be disrespectful. But let's say,
well, is she? What's that COL? That's so she was in the military, so we need Colonel. So
yes, she was a retired. Yes,
so say
she was
that
the only African American woman to fly the U2 spy plane.
Yes,
and stratosphere atmosphere.
Giving her title.
Okay, she's a retired Colonel. U.S. Air Force Colonel.
Colonel.
And yes,
your
so
mother.
Friday, January 10th, 2025, from 3 to 5, and it's gonna be at the Merriweather Library. Come out and check it out. And like I said, maybe your whole job for the community is just to let one person know about this. And you believe that, like we said, the community wants to do better if we give them the resources to do so. So I ain't gonna keep talking.
No, that was. Hey, look,
I'm gonna let you guys say y'all.
That's right on.
You close us out,
listen,
man.
Listen. I wanted to leave you with this thought. When sometimes people think we fuss and argue and fighting. No, the good book. Those of y'all that know what that term means, talking about out of the Bible said, those whom God loves, He chastises.
Yes,
and I grew up learning that, mama and daddy, grandma, auntie, they did too. They chastised, when you're being raised, when parents raising children. And so, in a real essence, we're not tearing down people. When we chastise, it's because we love you and we're calling out there's some things you done funky that you just need to step up to. Because the book also talk about, when you done something, you ought to confess, repent, and do better. That's all I'm saying to you politicals, because look at the state of our community. I love you.
So I'm just here, the shakeup is doing great. We in the new year, January is the new year. My birthday is in a couple of days.
Okay.
January 12th. But man, just to be here, living 60, I'll be 61, and to really go through trials and tribulations and learning this stuff. Learning from Brother Simba, Brother Jim Anderson, the Willie Stewarts and all that there. You gonna get that. See, you're gonna be able to reflect back in a couple of years of when they transition over or I transition over, who you had that you had in your toolbox that was like, this how we did it. You know what I'm saying? This what you need. Your Maries and all them there sitting there, elders and stuff like your mom said when she went next door and started sweeping. You know what I'm saying? It's time for our community to see where they fit into the equation, because now they don't want to beta generation. And now I said beta, they seem like they starting back over. Alpha, beta, that beta generation is going to see AI more than ever before. And I'm like, we already seeing AI right now. So how do we take what we have now and making it work for the future of this community in the world? And I'll leave you with peace on that and then put it in Mother's hand.
Oh no, that's all. Go ahead, finish out the show.
I think we are done for the day. I think the DJ saying we're gonna wrap it up. So I appreciate you guys, Buffalo. We will see you next week, and stay tuned. Stay safe.
Nice.